It's interesting. They are making a lot of people want to buy Bitcoin. It's good too. They're getting rid of the world of fake money. They are making it faster for central banks to fail. They are speeding up the fall of states, but they're giving Bitcoin to people who are just copies of plans. When you back Michael Saylor, or one of these clones of Michael Saylor, you are moving away from the best form of Bitcoin, which means there is a risk. You are not keeping your Bitcoin in your own control. That means there are risks. There was talk about Bitcoin. In order to save the banks, he wants cheap money from the Federal Reserve. As we saw with the $5 trillion big beautiful bill, he still works for Wall Street bankers to keep the fiat money Ponzi plan going. In that way, he's not different. Things are going to go badly. We're going to talk about something we haven't talked about in a long time in today's video. Max Keiser will share his ideas on how Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like XRP can help fix the problems that the current cash system causes. Also, he's going to talk about a lot of risks that we haven't talked about in a long time, like how the banking sector could fail if things don't change quickly. I'm really excited to share today's video with you all. Yes, I know that Max Keiser is a Bitcoin maximalist, but I'm going to give you a lot of new information about XRP, so please stay tuned for that. It's very important that we pay attention to what he has to say about the banking industry. I'll give you more information soon. Let's watch the movie. This was called the Greenspan put, and it meant that whenever the market fell, they would lower interest rates. This let speculation run wild and keep going. This is what has caused prices to keep going up in the stock market and other markets around the world, as well as a lot of debt around the world. The world now owes about $350 trillion. That's the most debt compared to the world's GDP ever. The reason for this is that these central banks changed their job from watching out for inflation to watching out for the market. Pretty much buyers. Their role is not to give money, but to buy things in case of default. So they have a whole new view of the Fed. So Powell is doing his job by keeping interest rates the same. One of his jobs is to protect the dollar and its buying power. And if he cuts rates the way Trump wants him to, inflation will rise very quickly. It's also very dangerous for the dollar. Bitcoin will also, of course, go through the roof. However, it will be very bad for the business. The myth that lower rates make people want to buy things is not true. That is a lie made up by Keynesians. That thought is just a myth. It's not true. That's what Trump thinks, though, and he has no right to attack the Fed. But I think things will go badly in the end. That's what I would say. Trump is very protective of the dollar because he believes it is valuable. He wants the dollar to be a strong currency used all over the world. We will put taxes on any country that doesn't use the dollar. We are going to fight them, but the dollar, like all other world currencies, has a limit to how long it can be used, and that lifespan is over. The dollar is no longer the world's main currency. Bitcoin will also become the standard around the world. Doesn't get that. He doesn't know anything about Bitcoin. You should know that there are 5 levels of Bitcoin knowledge. The first one is that I just learned about Bitcoin, how to fix it. The second one is I love Bitcoin, buy my Bitcoin. 4th, Bitcoin is mostly used to keep value. 5, Bitcoinization is very high, and almost everyone has to go through those 5 steps of learning about Bitcoin. When Trump is on level 2, he's like, I love Bitcoin, buy my coin, right? He has a Trump coin, a meme coin, and a lot of other stuff. He's new. Make a lot of mistakes because he's new. A lot of people get tired of joke coins and altcoins, but he's going to destroy a country in this case. To country, the US, they're not making as much progress as they should. Where is the strategic store for Bitcoin? Which ones are those? Where is that? It's not going to happen. The Fort Knox hasn't been checked out yet. It didn't happen. The US says they have $200,000 in Bitcoin. That's not true. Bitfinex owns the 100,000. They don't have jack. We're going to live in a world where the US plays bluff with twos. Also, El Salvador has a lot of good cards. Are very Bitcoin rich, with over $100 worth of Bitcoin per person. So it's in the top 3. Bhutan has the most Bitcoin per person, and Kazakhstan, or some other country, also has a very high Bitcoin per capita. El Salvador is the next one. These three countries are at the front of the Bitcoin change around the world. The US isn't even in the top 10. The US is losing and it's behind. Bitcoin and the dollar can't live together. They are starting to understand this and are slowing down the process of passing some of these laws. That being said, I do get that Max Keiser is really into Bitcoin, but what he doesn't seem to understand is that Bitcoin isn't the only cryptocurrency out there, and people don't just use Bitcoin to store value. These are also some of the ways that XRP is used. And because Bitcoin is so stable, a lot of people don't pay much attention to XRP or other top altcoins. But for more and more cryptocurrency, things are becoming very different from Bitcoin. This is a lot more different than we could have imagined in 2017 and a lot more different than we could have imagined in 2021. We might be in the middle of an altcoin season. People who don't pay any attention to XRP at this time are probably making one of the biggest mistakes of their lives, since Bitcoin might only go up 2 times when XRP goes up 5 times. So it's clear that there's more gains there. Indeed, this is the main reason why BlackRock and other major Wall Street firms are paying attention to some of these alternative currencies. They're putting money into projects like XRP, HBAR, and others with lower caps that you may not have even heard of. They want you to focus on Bitcoin so that they can make a lot of money on these other projects. That's how they do things. That's how they make their money. Sell you ETF that let you buy a piece of a certain number of companies. But they also put a lot more of their own money into smaller companies that may only make up a small part of the ETF, but are worth billions and billions of dollars, which helps them grow their portfolio a lot. If you're still not sure what I mean, a coin or stock with a low market cap needs a lot less volume to go up in price. This means that a project with a market cap of $100 million could see 10 times as much growth as a project with a market cap of, say, $1 billion would see 2 times as much growth with the same amount of volume, right? In either case, that $1 billion in volume would lead to the price movement I just described. So this is how companies like BlackRock move money around. They'll put out an ETF that splits its money evenly between NVIDIA and some low-cap project you've never heard of. You'll put all of your money into this ETF and it will split your money evenly between NVIDIA and the unknown project. However, you'll only get half of the upside of the smaller company, which is going through a huge boom right now because BlackRock just released this ETF. Does that make sense to you? Yes, they do that. And on top of that, they also invest secretly in a number of other businesses. They really make a lot of money that way. They put all of their money into a smaller company, which is where you're putting your ETF money and only getting half of the upside. They are giving it their all of the good things. That's just one way to do it. This is something I'm bringing up because many of these companies do understand this when it comes to cryptocurrencies and altcoins as well. Don't buy ETF like a blue chip ETF that has 5 different cryptocurrencies in it, because we all know that one of those cryptocurrencies is very likely to do better than the others. And to be honest with you, I'm sure it will be XRP and HBAR. I'm really interested in those because they offer services that no other cryptocurrency can even come close to and help people in ways that no other cryptocurrency can. That being said, Max Keiser will now talk about some more useful things. Okay, let's talk about that. After that, I'll give you some really important key insights near the end of this movie.